think I might as well start the recording here.
Yeah, we'll start in a minute.
No rush.
Looking through the last of my notes here.
Jesus, didn't realize we're actually on session 14.
Yep, and just now we're finally getting the freaking fuck dad.
I forget, which session did we actually,
We left on
False Head?
session 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there is a not insignificant chance that a major portion of today's session will be us messing around in a city. Getting random supplies and junk.
Oh, you've also got a prisoner.
We do have a
Yeah.
prisoner.
That's a long view. We need supplies, man.
No, I really want to let Rede channel Captain Carrot, but I don't know how well I can pull that off. For anyone who knows Discworld.
Nope.
Wait,
Shame
which
on
character do you want to pull off?
Captain Carrot.
From the Night Watch?
Yep.
You have to. I don't know if you're so altruistic though. And I'm not. I haven't read the story yet where he became captain. Carrot, as I understand it, was the farm boy, right? Who came to the city, the special boy else. I'm going to say.
It's you're right for his early story, but by the time you hit
Right. So later on, like, don't spoil for me because I'm kind of going through. There's so many books in this world.
Yeah, I won't spoil.
Well, aren't you pretty short? I was just looking at your guys' character sheets again this week.
He is nowhere near as tall as Carrot is.
It's really funny to me that there's a gnome, a halfling, a dwarf, and then a 5'3" human, and then you've got like 2 6'4" tall elves. It's just you guys are really.
I'm gonna do the
weird
gnomish
group.
paladin at some point just for fun.
I have a gnome barbarian. That's always fun.
Yeah, James, there's to not spoil anything, but to finish the thought, Carrot has a very complicated personality that the books brush at as you start, and he lets it more of it out eventually. And there's some awesome things that he does from time to time that I'd love to channel because I think Rede could do it, but I don't think I can play it well enough.
Well, does he never lose his character trait that he does the right thing no matter what?
No, that's the thing. He never loses that character trait. Even when he's doing something that should specifically say he can't have that character trait anymore. That's why Carrot. Like, he'll do something and you're going, this has got to be underhanded, sneaky, and Carrot's like, nope. Above board, you know.
Yep, we're going to break into this castle, so we'll send them a note first to let them know. Not that bad, but that's obviously not an example, but that's kind of what I'm saying. He's he does it by the book. By the book.
The least spoilery example I can give you is Carrot bluffs his way into location one day by saying, if you don't allow me to come in, I will be forced to obey the orders I was given earlier. Which makes the guard really nervous. And Carrot kind of keeps on going on that. I really hope you don't say no, because I'm going to be really upset if I have to follow these orders, so I would really like you to say yes. Eventually the guard lets him in. The orders in question were that if he were denied entry, he should return to the police station.
Right. No, I like that character, and I like the whole Night Watch, so the Night
Watch is
in fact, all the audiobooks are on YouTube, so I've been listening to some of the audiobooks rather than working lately. So
No,
They're done very well.
Sam Vimes is probably my second favorite character. Maybe third.
I always liked Rincewind from the first 2 stories. I know he makes appearance in some later stories.
He does. The downside is that as Terry Pratchett got better at developing his world, Rincewind didn't fit in it anymore. So
Right.
he kind of made him more of a background character. He does a lot of fun stuff, but
He is a good example to the absurdity of his world. Oh, and it's time to get into this world.
Yeah, I think it's probably time we just go, and Adrik can join up in a minute. So, that said, who wants to give a recap of what you remember from last time?
I mean, I can always do it
Can
again.
we return on that?
Yeah,
Right,
nah,
right.
you do it.
Let me do it? Okay. So,
You've got that good narrator voice.
So last time on the Edrithian Accord, we woke up next to a rushing river, which is a lovely place to be, especially when you almost died in it last time. And we woke up, we stretched, we kind of got ready to go, and all of a sudden were kind of accosted by 2 druids who were very unhappy to see us, or very happy, I couldn't tell which. We tried to make peace with them until Dretan tried to speak with them. Dretan learned something was really bad, but instead of communicating to us, he decided to kind of attack them. So we did. 2 druids and a bunch of flying something or others later, lots of birds that pecked at us, we kind of made our way onwards. So, as you can tell, they didn't make a gigantic impression, though apparently they had said something about the earth needing to drink our blood. Vampire Earths, not fun. So as we explored and made our way, we finally saw the walls of Falstad. We thought we were almost going to be there, and then Rede did something very stupid. You see, there was a kind of a captain of a guard sort of person who was berating an old man. And as they kind of rode up, the old man spat at the captain's feet. The captain backhanded the old man until he fell down. This made Rede very upset. So Rede extraordinarily aggressively rode up on the captain. Didn't attack, but aggressively rode up. That's important for the later part of the story. So, the asked the captain what he was doing. The captain responded. They were about to have a cordial conversation when apparently it turns out the captain had very bad control over his people. There was something to the tune of like 2 Templars, 3 rogues, and I believe some like 7 archers. And the captain had no control over them. They decided to attack Rede. This was really bad for them because the druid summoned 8 wolves with the command, attack anybody who attacks Rede. The wizard summoned a fireball with the command of blow up anybody who attacks Rede. The cleric summoned a fireball, which said blow up anybody who attacks Rede. Rede summoned himself and grappled the captain. The bard got involved and helped kill people. The ranger got involved and helped kill people. And after like 1 full attack round, the only people left alive were the captain and an archer. The captain decided to leave, and using this magical potion that we would love to get, Rede gave chase. Dretan tried to save the old man, who I guess had a bruised jaw or something. We're going to find out soon. And they chased like hell this guy. They tried valiantly to at least save his horse. It didn't happen, so the wizard roasted the horse. The guy tried to escape, realizing he couldn't, tried to gut Rede. That didn't work very well. The druid came out with this amazing paralyze spell that allowed Rede to beat the shit out of this guy. Non-lethally. Important to remember. Non-lethally. So now he's tied up on the ground, and what's most important to remember about this, especially in character for everybody who's about to yell at Rede, at no point did Rede attack anyone. But now
you won't have to worry about Zixo because he's more worried about the horse meat he just barbecued than anything else.
Yeah. But what's probably most important about all of this, as you guys can see on the screen, is that they learned from the farmer, or at least I think specifically Dretan learned and the rest of us haven't learned yet, that these representatives of the First Empire that were trying to get taxation of some sorts, these are kind of the first people we've actually seen that were
shakedown money.
Yeah, like the first direct representatives that were at odds with the party. So now we have one of them who is probably really going to have a bad time as soon as we start up, if I had to make a guess, because he forced us to roast a horse. On the other hand, important because we just brought up Discworld, every single one of his people committed suicide by Ankh-Morpork rules.
Absolutely, they went up against a wizard.
Who specifically warned them. Our entire party warned them to back down, and they didn't listen.
That's
And
their mistake.
that should bring us up to the speed.
Excellent. Okay. Well, yeah, you guys. That's basically where we stopped. You guys now have an unconscious, robed, hooded figure. There's plenty of bodies around. I think I handed out treasure, didn't I?
I
I
don't
believe so.
think we had
No.
actually started frisking bodies yet. I think
Oh,
we
we
stopped
didn't.
as soon as combat ended.
Okay.
Yeah, we had to break it off. You had to go.
That's right. That's right.
So 2 questions quickly as we are searching the body. What time of day it is, and how far are we from the city gates?
You guys, your understanding is the city gates are quite close, and the sun is starting to dip down. It's almost to be dusk. It's not quite sunset, but it's close.
All right, let's get this guy loaded up on a horse. We want to take him into the city and tie him up very well, of course. Let's search the rest of the bodies to see if they have any cash on them.
I mean, do we want to take this guy to the city before we try to talk to him?
I need to get to the commander with this note immediately.
Good
We
point.
don't have time. So I don't want to split the party up. I'd rather take him with us and just even turn him over to the guys in town. And I think that the interaction of the town with him will also tell us a lot that we won't get from just trying to question him.
Okay,
Hang on.
Hockey.
There's also the old guy.
There's also
what
the
does
old
he
guy
know
that we
about-
need to talk to.
What did
Yo,
What did
buddy.
he
Yeah, the old. I think you guys said Dretan went over and helped the old guy up.
Yep, that's what I did.
Yep, and I'll show you him.
And while after Rede, cool, this guy he's an important NPC. It's good that we saved him. He's got his own picture and his own name.
Pegleg.
He's apparently
hey.
important.
Hey, Jacob, it's your bro.
Hey James, it's your friend. So after Rede kind of ties this guy up, can he frisk this guy to make sure he doesn't have things that could potentially cause them problems later, like weapons?
Yeah, sure. You hold on, James. We'll get to that in just a sec. You tie him up. I assume you take some of your rope and fasten it around him. Your cursory frisk just shows that his armor now is a bit in shambles after being tossed and fried and attacked consistently. He has that one large 2-hand sword. And other than that, he has a couple potions that are unidentifiable to you. You don't know what they are. And he seems to have an amulet of a small coin of some sort that you do not recognize at all.
And when you say a couple of potions, we're talking about 2 potions?
Yeah, 2.
This is on the unconscious guy, right?
This is the guy that was running away.
Yeah, somebody lift all that out of him, and then I'll be searching the rest of the bodies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will go ahead
Maybe
and-
the amulet will tell us what, like, maybe the city will know what sort of gang he's from, maybe.
And so
If
Rede
he's part
will
of any.
go ahead and put those, and take care of those and put them kind of separate from everything so he knows what they are. And then kind of lash him onto the back of his horse and then start riding back to the group.
Okay.
And hopefully by that time I've been able to go through the pockets and lift all the shiny, valuable things from them. And I'd like to slightly propose
That's
to the
what you
rest
find.
Yeah, I'd also like to
Ooh.
propose to my party that we give maybe some to this innkeeper here, as
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure he's been shook down before. It'd be nice for him to get something back.
I am in.
Like, how about
absolute-
the silver? We give him all the silver, we keep the gold?
But I like silver.
Okay, how about we give him half the silver?
Half the silver
Alright.
sounds.
Rede would most likely just ask him what he was shaken down for.
Of course,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
knows
well.
that.
Is that what you're doing? You're
Are you
asking him?
gonna
You're
ask
talking
that?
to him?
But Reed's also still arriving, so he doesn't have a voice in this conversation.
Also, I am trying to get people up on their horses, and I want to get to town before dark and deliver our message. I remind everybody that we have a demon army that might be descending on that little town that, we haven't yet dealt with.
It wasn't a demon army. It was a
Hobgoblin.
hobgoblin army.
Well, who knows what the demons have added to it?
Good point.
Fair point. So, 1,000 silver is like 100 golds worth.
I realize
That's
it's actually
like
kind of
right.
excessive because there is a lot of silver there. But
Right.
maybe we should at least give them all the copper.
All right.
Everybody
Sure.
good about giving away pennies?
Yes.
No
Here you go, old
argument.
man. We know you've been shaken down and everything.
I mean, first I try and give them 200 gold. That's no good. Maybe 100 gold. No, that's no good. Here's 4 gold, old man.
Wait a second. I need to pay off my debt.
Well, I mean,
Stop.
look,
Yeah, and I need a receipt, okay?
If he's like standard farmer, isn't 4 gold a fair amount of money anyways?
But isn't he the innkeeper?
I think he's the innkeeper.
Oh no, he's the innkeeper. That's what he is.
He's
Yeah.
the innkeeper.
Besides, prices are a little bit extreme right now.
Yeah, but we're not going to give away the bottle of fire wine. Zixo actually has kind of grasped onto that one.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what is everybody doing right now?
Reed
What
still
is-
catch
Lots
up
of
to you guys.
talk.
What is Rotgut?
Alcohol.
Some sort of poison?
It's basically like moonshine. These bandits had made it in a wooden bowl in the forest.
Uh,
Uh-huh.
right, I'm gonna ask. Do we want to ask the innkeeper for more information, or just go straight to the city?
Unless I go straight to the city. You've had enough time
At
out
this
here.
point, the innkeeper is just sort of still trying to gather his wits. Looking around, there were all those sacks and boxes that had been hauled out that now are shattered from the combat, and he's just sort of, trying to pick through it and see if there's anything to salvage.
Guys, let's slip them a few more silver. I mean, this guy's
Absolutely.
life was just destroyed.
Fair enough.
All right, I want to hear somebody else propose an amount because my amounts seemed a little excessive.
I'm gonna
400
go and
copper
say-
and 500 silver pieces, maybe.
Yeah.
We can-
I'm with.
I'm cool with
No,
that.
Okay,
but-
500 silver and 400 copper. I'll go with that.
Okay.
That's fine.
I'll edit that out. And I'm cool with that.
Basically, 54 gold worth of amount. 54?
So that leaves 220 gold pieces and 1,500 silver pieces still out of that.
He expresses his gratitude. He's thankful that you've offered to remediate some of the losses that he had, and he. At this point, Reed, I think you've probably ridden back to the group. You were only, a couple hundred meters off. So he sees that you've got the guy tied up, and his eyes sort of flash in anger as he turns and spits at him again. And he says, he says that this guy, I would do a voice, but my voice is already gone, so I apologize. This is just sort of
Cool.
third person narration.
No problem.
He says that this guy and his troop have come by periodically and hassled him. This time in particular, it wasn't so much threatening to take his goods as much as it was asking for information, and it was somewhat odd. But it's known that these bandits were First Empire sympathizers, if not outright members of the First Empire.
And Reed's going to be a little bit concerned about this. So this guy outright calls them bandits?
Yeah, he actually says that they're First Empire. He uses the term bandits because they've turned to banditry.
Gotcha.
But he calls them, First Empire members.
And Reed looks a little concerned and then kind of gestures towards the city and asks, just to verify, these are not officials of Falstaff over here.
He sort of shrugs his shoulders and said, they may have positions in there. It's not necessarily a crime to be members of the First Empire. But most of these, and he turns to, the entire field that has the bodies strewn about them, and says, most of these guys, I would be surprised if they've been in town. They're from the countryside.
Good to know.
All right, so that's good. Hell, maybe there's
That's a
even a
lot of
bounty on these
information.
guys.
That'd be wishful thinking, don't you think?
Who kept the journal from the Druid encounter?
I think it was me.
Yeah,
because none of us can read it.
Good point.
Because
Did we
I'm a
ever
tr-
did we ever share the contents of that? Was that shared to the group, or did you just read
Yes.
it by yourself?
yeah.
Okay.
yes.
Then Reed would kind of turn to the man's and kind of off the top of his head, have you seen a group of wandering bards come through here? By the way, out of curiosity.
Not me.
Bards?
Other ones.
Bards? Oh, minstrels, yes. There was a troop, 2-3 nights past.
Were they asking any odd questions?
Oh, they didn't stop here. They passed through singing and making merry the whole way.
Reed simply nods and snaps his fingers and then shakes his head and says, "We'll catch up eventually."
He says, "Yeah." He says, "Why do you ask?"
Long story.
Unfinished business.
That too.
And he shrugs his shoulders.
All right, so that's city now.
To the city.
Yeah, you can see the Zixo is visibly anxious, trying to get everybody to lead forward, almost as if the dog itself wants to get into the city too.
Yeah, places to be, things to do.
Anyway, thanks for the information, old man. I think we need to get going into the city.
Oh, well, I'm very grateful you came when you did. You gentlemen go ahead. I'll handle these bodies. I'll clean them up. The local magistrate will send someone over.
All right, good luck for you in your future travels.
Okay.
And with that, we're off.
All right.
Yep.
You guys start riding off. So is the captured guy just over the pommel of your horse then, or
He has been bound, right?
Yeah, he's going to be bound like wrists, legs, trying to make it as hard for him to move as possible. And Reed would
Okay.
have him kind of over the front of the horse, so you can kind of watch him while they're riding, make sure he doesn't do anything stupid.
okay?
We have went from dead bodies to a prisoner. Wow, over a night.
I mean, to be fair, Reed has been trying to go non-lethal for at least a little while here. He just isn't lucky.
I'm trying to decide what spell I should have prepared in case he tries to run. Either Maximilian's Earthen Grasp or just Grease.
Grace.
Can you command it to
Great.
not
It would
crush
Great.
them?
I mean, to be fair, Reed has it covered if he tries to run. Because number one, he'd be hopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys are also ready to shoot his leg. If he tries to.
Critical
ain't going
miss, shoot him in the
Always
head.
on guard. No,
Okay.
I'm not gonna miss.
I don't know,
All right,
man.
You guys continue on discussing amongst
Guilty.
yourselves the various ways that you'll keep him from running away if he does ever wake up.
Meanwhile, directly pointed at him.
That's-
To be your does.
That's what we did the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Also intimidate him, not from running.
You clear the final bend of a stand of trees, and the walls of Falstead loom up ahead in front of you. You see it sort of. You see the blue. Well, here, let me just read it. The stark gray inner fortress that has stood for the last 150 years is the foremost Edrithian presence in the region. Stands atop a low hill. The walls of the outer city are built around the base of the hill, and traffic into the city seems fairly steady even at this hour. The road is not choked with travelers today, however. The Kraken Sound can be seen past the city, its blue-green surface shining at the last vestiges of the sun as it passes behind the mountains. Upon approaching the gates, you see 3 guardsmen on each side of the gate, looking over the traffic. One particular guardsman with a long jagged scar over a white silky eye spots your group, spits at your feet loudly and mutters about smelly mountain dwellers as he looks at Adrik, who's not here. But anyways, behind you, you hear a commotion and turn to see a pile of books that's been spilled onto the ground. A wiry framed boy kneels to pick up the books, but is being jostled by the crush of people at the gate as it narrows the traffic. Over him stands an old man bowed with age, but raising his cane, anger in his face. Up ahead in the city, you hear a call from a city crier. Come one, come all. Wolpiska's arena is open for combat. Magic, cunning, good old-fashioned blood and brawn. All challengers are welcome to vie for the 5,000 gold piece tournament purse. And you continue on into the city. Well, I guess you technically have a choice at this point. I'm leaving it open to you.
I am personally, Zixo was looking back at the old man and the boy, and I guess I'd like to try and determine from all of my knowledge about this, is this man a wizard or a magic user?
Roll perception. Negative. Roll insight, actually. Sorry.
Okay.
You see the books that are on the ground are large tomes of handwritten notes. Around his waist, he has some pouches. Maybe a few of them may have components in them. If he is a mage, he's a fairly low-level one, not some grand archmage, but he has some wire-framed glasses that are sort of pinched over his huge hatchet of a nose, and he seems more academic than anything.
The guy who spit at our feet, did he seem to be the leader or just a soldier?
There doesn't seem to be any knots of rank or visible signs of a leader among the few guard that are at the gate.
All right. I see you guys. So let's pass through and let's get to the town center as quickly as possible.
Hockey, how bad's the crush of people? Like, is it... Are we talking mosh pit, or are we talking like just a very fast moving stream?
You guys, you're all on horses. There's a fairly dense group of people that are on foot. There's a couple carts in front of you and behind you as people are sort of being let through into the city. It sort of seems like this may even be a little bit of a rush hour as people are trying to come out, as well as people coming in from the fields and whatnot. So it's moving steadily, but it is, at sort of a slow pace, a slow walk.
Okay, well, it's going to be slow anyways. Rede would likely kind of maneuver his horse kind of like as a boulder in the stream of people, kind of give a little bit of room so the kid can get his books up.
Okay, so you're going to turn your horse around and go back because it is behind you.
Oh, we're past him. Oh, I would have done that before we passed.
It's behind you probably about 5 to 10 feet.
It's going to be really hard to back up in that.
Yeah.
Damn, would have done that as we passed. If we're past him.
I shout at Rede, come, let's go.
Yeah, if we're past him, Rede wouldn't stop, because they do have places to be. Oh, well.
Well, I understand your love for the, for being back in civilized lands. We do have time that we cannot be wasted.
All right, so you guys just continue on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
You continue on through the gates. The rush of noise that was dim outside of the gates now hits you full force as a full bustling city assaults your senses. The smell of, the underground scent of rotten, sort of simmering, gross refuse on top of perfumes, on top of smells of food and other aromas. A large open square with merchant stalls set up around the edges is in front of you. The cobblestone streets cross in off center, sort of an intersection, but the crossing streets aren't meeting exactly. Carriages, wagons, and carts drive by on the cobblestone while pedestrian foot traffic are near the outer edges, near the market stalls. Warehouse buildings and merchant fronts make up the majority of the buildings surrounding the square, with two inns making up the rest. The bloody dwarf and the perfumed soldier. In the center of the square, and the reason for the off-center intersections, is a large broken stone block, one of the largest single blocks you've seen in your entire lives. Probably 50 foot to a side and another 30 feet tall. Chisel marks can be seen all around it, but it is uncut, so to speak. Several cracks run along its length laterally, but the block is seemingly intact. The smell, a bouquet of scents from floral arrangements, tropical and exotic fruit stands to smoky aroma of cured and cooked meats drifting along the breeze. A low undertone of general city smell lingers underneath everything, but overall not an unpleasant scent. The hum and thriving heartbeat of the town is apparent in the square. The clatter of wheel on stone, the din of merchant calls and sales, and the hum of conversation.
Nice.
Besides the two inns, does there appear to be a town center, like a town hall?
Not in this area. You can see up on the higher part of the hill another sort of bastion. It's a fort looking. It's got old gray walls. It's got a keep in the middle of it.
That's where I think we should go, guys.
Yeah, this is a large city.
Let's go right to the top.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay.
Until I deliver this letter, I won't feel good.
Okay.
Yes, at
You
least.
guys entered
Yes.
from the southern gate at 8. You just entered Pugman Square at 3. And so the main thoroughfare is directly in front of you, heading towards that higher hill around number 1 Fort Falstead.
Just out of character really quick. Holy fuck, that's a nice map, dude.
Yep, that's really nice.
Thank you.
The skills I don't have.
I wanted to show this to you guys like a month and a half ago, but I lost it yet, so.
But you assholes wouldn't get your butt on the road.
It's partly my
Hey,
fault too.
I had to go and talk to like freaking Cthulhu gods, man. I had things I needed to do.
All
So
right,
we're trying to get to 1 is where I see on the hill.
That's Fort Falstead. That's where that main keep is.
Yeah, that's where we want to go, guys. We're gonna have to go walk right past the big obelisk thing.
Okay. As you approach, the big obelisk thing is by number 3. That's the main square you just entered. So you've got, this is a large city. 12 is the center square, so you're actually approaching the center square now, and passing through all the main traffic of from Edrithia to Bulwark Keep, where there's long caravans, large wagon trains that pass through there. Heading up the hill, as it curves, you approach the dull gray stonework of the original Fort Falstead, and it rises high in front of you. The single entrance snakes its way up the outside, providing perfect viewing for archers on the wall above. Everything about this construction screams military defense. The strategic value of this port, joining Bulwark Keep in the west and Edrithia in the east, cannot be understated, and is seen in every fortification and construction in the city. Streaming flags whip in the high wind atop the crenellated towers. The current Lord Commander, Ranverth Rabura, flies his colors alongside, if not slightly higher than the Edrithian flag. As you approach, the doors of the fort are closed, and there's no guards posted outside.
Interesting.
No
So
guards
we
outside
knock?
the fort?
I'm going to shout as loud as I can that hail, we bear an urgent message from oh shit, where's it from again? Guys, where did we just come from? It was like yesterday.
Altamar Cove.
It's on the map.
Altamar Cove.
Maybe I do the talking, huh?
Under no circumstances, no, not at all.
A form, a silhouette above on the wall pokes its head over and says, "Hello, who is it?" No, I'm just kidding.
Oh shit, Benny, is that you?
I
No
say I have a
way,
report
no
letter for
way.
Commander Killian.
Commander Killian, this is Fort Falstead. Commander Killian's not here.
Where is
What?
Commander Killian is the leader of the Sable Guard over in Bulwark Keep. You're several days' ride east of that.
Oh,
Wait, what?
Commander,
What?
are you talking about the letter that Lady Galena sent with you?
No. That the mayor
Yeah,
of Altamore Cove sent us to here with urgent notice that he needs help.
Yeah, but that's
Right.
Our
so
reason for
that's
coming here.
to talk
that's
with.
Ranverth Rabura. So you just have the NPCs mixed up. It's fine.
A specific letter to Commander Killian in my inventory.
Yep, that's from
Yeah,
Lady
that's-
Galena.
That's for
okay.
Lena later
She
on.
wants that to go to her boss.
Oh,
Remember how
it's
how
not the
you
guy
went and
draped
talked
over
to
our
her?
shoulder. Yeah, hopefully it's not the guy draped over our saddle.
I don't think it is.
I imagine he would have been harder to take down.
Oh, well, then we got the letter for the guy here, right? Somewhere around here's got this letter.
We got a letter for this guy, all right?
Yeah, I got a lot of letters.
He says, hold on 1 second. And you guys wait a couple minutes, and a sally door opens in the gate in front of you. And a heavily armored figure steps out and says, "What's this about a letter?"
We were sent from the mayor of Altamore Cove with urgent request of aid. We were supposed to deposit two, and then please insert the name of the guy here.
Please insert name. We were supposed to deliver this to. Please insert name here.
He looks over each of you, sees your armaments, notices the slumped figure over Reed's horse, and indicates that you should all dismount. He says, "Come inside." And he pounds on the door, and it opens slightly. And as you walk through the gate, there's a troop of about 10 guards that sort of take up positions outside of you. And he says, "Come this way," and he indicates to follow deeper into the fort. You pass several bunkhouses, forges, and armories, and you hear a whole bunch of military drill call-outs even this late at night. It's now well into sunset, sun's down, but you hear the continuing din of weaponsmiths and armorsmiths, horse masters, and just the general din of a garrison at rest. As you're walking through, you notice the look of the military units, the military men that you see. It might be professional and orderly, but there seems to be an underlying indolence, sort of sloppiness that exhibits the deeper and more careful you look at it. You approach the main long keep house. It's simply just a stone building that's taller than all the others, and the guard indicates for you to hand the reins of your horses off to one of the guards and to wait outside. And he enters the keep while the remaining 9 guards stand with you. The one guard sort of walks off with your horses towards a stable you see off to the side.
What are they doing with Mr. Sunshine there?
As you hand the reins to the guard, 2 more guards come up and take the guy that's bound and sling him off and carry him away around a corner. You don't see where they go with them.
Interesting. Okay.
So you guys have a few minutes to wait if you want to do anything.
Reed's
I'll look in the
literally
way.
going to stand there looking around. He's kind of curious. He's not a very big military person.
Yeah. Same here. This is probably the first time that Elessar's been in any sort of fort. I'm just gonna take it all in, be impressed.
Like that level of kind of, I guess, lackadaisical going-ons you kind of described, would that be obvious to someone who doesn't know military, or is that something to
Yeah, it's almost a feeling rather than something you perceive. It's you notice.
I'd like to, if I could, I'm going to start down and start doing a ritual spell, if we've got some time to wait.
Okay, what spell?
Comprehend languages.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, Reed. you just simply passing through. There's a few things, spears leaning up against the wall. Some of the weapon racks seem to be sort of off kilter. More than a few men are simply just outside of buildings, just hanging out, smoking pipes or discussing things. Uniforms aren't necessarily very crisp. It's just not as organized as maybe you would think.
Yeah, he's just going to kind of keep an eye out, and because he's got that amazing horse of his, he's just going to kind of ask it to alert him if anything untoward happens to the horses.
All right, and in your mind you hear, "Roger that, Governor."
Okay.
Alrighty then.
I like this
That
horse.
The space horse has a Cockney accent, apparently. Okay.
I am fully in support of this.
Wait, what did the comprehend languages pop up for?
That's the ritual spell that Zixo is casting.
Oh,
So as a ritual, you need what, 10 minutes?
10 minutes, yeah.
Should I be a dick and say he comes back at 8 minutes?
You could.
No, actually, you guys wait a solid 15, 20 minutes almost, where you are just outside standing. There's nowhere for you to sit. You're just out on the cobblestones in front of this large door heading into this building.
If that's the case, can I also ritual cast comprehend languages?
Yeah, you notice Zixo and sort of gather what he's doing from the materials he's gathering and the incantation he's doing, and you settle down next to him and start performing the same thing.
Yep.
And so Zixo finishes, and then a couple minutes later you finish, and then 5-7 minutes later, that officer, that guard leader, comes back out and indicates for you to follow.
Zixo? Because it was good for me.
Yeah, it felt good.
So yes, dang it, I did not get him ready, did I? So yes, you guys enter, and you enter into a hallway, excuse me, that has rows of armor, exquisite armor that seems to be polished and shiny to almost a ridiculous level. Nothing, it would almost be too shiny. There's no reason for armor to be polished this much. The rugs are plush and exquisite. Everybody roll history check.
Oh, yay.
When you say shiny, are we talking about shined or unused?
Unused and shined.
oh boy.
Wait, Reed's in a town? He may actually know something? This is amazing.
Me, the trained historian, doesn't know shit.
Apparently,
Like
it's not that
everything.
Reed rolls badly. It's that my dice are apparently context sensitive.
So even the moon forest most of the time, and Reed, as well as the Elven Ranger who hangs out in the forest most of the time, they recognize these rugs as elven make. Not only are they elven make, but they are elven make from the time before the mass diaspora from Iciliath, the ancient elven homeland that was poisoned during the original Chaos Wars. These rugs are expensive. It boggles your mind. Like Reed almost.
I was saying,
steps
like
off
Antique
them.
Roadshow would.
Yeah, is it possible for
frontiers
Reed
going
to
off?
not walk on that?
Yeah, like Reed basically sees what they are, and his jaw drops to the floor, and he starts stepping off to the side.
Exactly.
While I was doing that, muddy
These-
boots walking through.
These rugs are expensive in human terms, but
Yeah.
invaluable in elven terms.
Yeah, the elves sort of take a minute to notice what it is and look at each other with eyes wide open, and then Kai explains the history of these rugs, and the guard captain ushers you forward more, says, come, And he walks you down this long hallway, Rede trying to dodge between shiny armor sets and not walk on these rugs.
Oh, that's about right.
The tapestries on the wall depict a lot of what you guys know historically as the Reunification War, the time when the First Empire rose up in rebellion in this area and attempted to take over Edrithia. That's where Jareth, the mayor from the Altimer Cove, got famous from. A lot of it is depictions of battles. You see a few that seem to be, generals, portraits of generals, with the classic pose, 1 foot forward and hand resting in between the buttons of their coat and whatnot. Later on, as it gets closer to a large doorway at the end of the hall, which you take to be the Great Hall, there seems to be a row of portraits of these more modern type that would be they look very similar. It almost looks father and son. And you get to the main door, and the captain gives a soft knock and waits a minute.
Out of curiosity, those the tapestries depicting like the history, are they what side of the history do they seem to be favoring?
The Edrithian.
Okay.
Entirely.
Just out of curiosity. Hey,
Yeah.
no, there's no of course. No. These are questions we ask.
These are important questions, especially at the cradle of the Empire's birth.
Especially because we just captured a First Empire guy right outside this place that's glorifying victory over the First Empire.
Yeah, it's important that we get to speak to this guy again. Hopefully, we'll know where things lie and our ability to have access to him.
Yeah. So after almost a full minute after his soft knock, the guard must have heard something sort of inaudible to your ears, and he nods and turns the door and opens it for you and ushers you through. You come through, and in this large, grand hallway, probably 3 pillars to a side, running at least 20, 30 meters apart down this long, great hall. Flags and banners hanging in between the spots. There's just a single table in the middle with a large uniformed man eating dinner.
Naturally.
And it's indicated to you that this is Ranverth Ribura, the Lord Regional Commander of Falstead and the surrounding area. He takes no notice of your presence. You still are, you guys are 30, 40 meters away. And the guard sort of, after opening the door for you and ushering you through, he closes it behind him and comes to the front and indicates for you to come forward.
I'm going to advance with the letter in hand.
And Reed will be about a page.
Like holding it before me like it's like a holy symbol almost.
Okay. Okay, and so Zixo starts forward. Everybody follows Zixo, I assume. You're being ushered forward. You get to probably within 10 feet of the table, and the guard, motions for you to stop and approaches the uniformed man and bends down and whispers slightly in his ear. And the uniformed man, he continues to eat. He's got quite a resplendent spread in front of him. Really takes absolutely no notice of you for several minutes. You guys are just standing there.
Nice place you got here, sir.
I'm going to give you a quick look, Saf, and just go, no, just wait.
The guard shoots you daggers. He is just staring death at you. And he sort of is solemnly bowing his head just next to this man. And he finally finishes the last portion of his current plate and puts his knife and fork down and wipes his mouth with his napkin and puts it on the table and looks up at you. And he says, "Why should I believe a single word you say?"
you don't need to, but once I deliver this letter, then my honor has been kept. And with that, I place the letter on the table and kind of slide it towards him.
You are 10 feet away from the table, but
I asked for permission to advance to give him the letter.
he takes a second, looks at the letter, and finishes chewing the last little bit that had been stuck in his teeth, and motions the guard with just a single finger, and sort of just discontentedly waits for the guard to bring it to him. And the guard opens the letter and reads the contents. You know, the message that Altimer Cove is under imminent attack. Lord Jareth has dispatched the guard to hold Tavar's bridge in the hopes that it will gain more time for Falstead to send a contingent of Edrithian soldiers down to help relieve the town. Ranver, the guard is reading this, and so Ranverth sits there for a moment, and he looks like he's thinking, and again he looks at you and he says, "Why should I believe there is a hobgoblin army in the southern reaches of the country? Everyone knows the hobgoblins are cornered to the north in the Thalon Fens."
I didn't know that.
Dretan, you got one line here and you need to say it. I can't say it for you. You have to say it, because Reed can't.
Because you have to trust us.
Nope, that's not it.
We have been through hell getting this message to you. Heck, I'm pretty sure we encountered these very hobgoblins ourselves on our way back from an errand we ran for the mayor.
We could go to the temple and have the priestess put us to the question.
He rolls his eyes at that and says, "I'm not involving those clergy. It must be that Lord Jareth has gotten himself in trouble. And whether this is an army," and he says it very dismissively, "or whether this is just a single pack, a stray of hobgoblins, it must be that it is important, since I have received word by bird courier every day for the last 6 days that I must send some help to him. I merely wonder why he would send you in person when he has already sent it via bird courier."
I guess you would have to ask him that if you wish to write a return letter. I think we're going back that way, aren't we, guys?
Reed nods.
Yeah, I would like some answers as well.
"You're
Could've
sure
been on to
there's
my next
nothing
show.
else he needed you to deliver?" And at this, the guard sort of bends down and whispers to him again. And at this, you see a reaction from Ranverth. His eyes open wide, and he says, "They caught who?" And the guard again whispers to him, and he looks back at you guys and says, "How did you meet your prisoner that you brought to me?"
He assaulted us on the road, and we delivered him for justice.
Technically speaking, he was assaulting an old man.
Well, then his men also assaulted us when we asked what was going on.
Hey, they started first, all right?
Absolutely started at first, and all I can say is, you have him now. So if that is at least of a service we could be to you, I'm grateful.
He takes a minute and looks between all of you. You can see him thinking. And he finally says, "Well, it seems that I owe you my thanks for this. You may not know it, but you have caught quite an important person to me. A member of the First Empire, and quite the high-ranking member of it as well. I will take this under advisement. In the meantime," and he begins to stand, and he addresses you. And he says,
I may ask, who is it we caught for you?
"His name is Iridian Mycenta, a man from the north who seems to have quickly risen in the ranks of the First Empire here, which is odd for an outsider. And I can tell you I've wanted to discuss this occurrence with him quite often, and now it seems you've given me the opportunity.
I'm glad we could be of service. I would like the opportunity to speak to him ourselves if we could. Not necessarily right now. Of course, you have your questions, but when you're done, if he's still available, we would like to get some answers.
Of course. And he says, in the meantime, I will have my man here, and he turns to the guy next to him, and he says, where's that name that I had for him? Hold on one second. No. Quintus here. Quintus will send ahead of you to one of our finest inns down the way, and he will get accommodations for you, and we can discuss this more on the morrow.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
And he says, I personally recommend the Frowning Councilman. It is a great establishment that I think you will find quite welcoming.
Do all of your inns and towers in this place follow the adjective noun naming?
Now, Saffron, come on.
He says, it's simply a mechanism of the naming convention in the area.
Man, Edrithian needs to start learning.
Well, you can always go to the Running Hammer, but that is a bit of a rougher establishment.
I'm slowly going.
Can you tell us about the arena and about this grand prize?
And he sort of curls his lip a little bit. Yeah, his expression a little bit sour. The arena, well, that Vopiska gentleman, he seems to put on quite the show. His arena is found in, I believe it's to the north of the city, near the Shinkirk Narrows. You'll find an brawling arena, one-on-one fights, sometimes one versus animal or monster that they're able to capture, and it keeps the populace satisfied for blood, keeps them happy, so I let it go. This tournament has driven many to more of a frenzy. I will have to investigate whether I want to keep it happening.
Frenzy? How do you mean?
Says, but I apologize, I am needed elsewhere, so I will have Quintus send you off. Thank you and good day. And he doesn't even wait for any goodbyes from you guys. He simply turns to the side and exits one of the doors of the hall.
With this, guy's like really not like distrusting of this guy. He doesn't speak anything, but like his basic expressions, if any of you guys notice, is like I don't he's telling us all of the truth, and being what is it, magistrate of this place, whatever.
Yeah, he's the Lord Regional Commander. He's very very high. He's in charge of Falstead as well as the entire region.
He is like hiding something from us, maybe for his benefit, for the benefit of his people, or something. But the guy is really like, it's on his expression.
He's like a king, and we're just like shitholes that walked up into his, dragged mud all over his carpets.
Hey, they didn't give you a chance to wipe these things off first.
Although I do want to ask, as we're walking out, this lieutenant who's with us, I guess he's a officer, right?
Yeah, he's a guard. He seems to be definitely in the service directly of Randverth. You don't know whether he is an officer in the military or not.
But his uniform looks in much better shape than the guards we saw outside, right?
Yes, immaculate.
Right, and so I'm going to ask him, so you appear to be a proper guard. What happened to the status of the guards outside? What happened to proper efficiency?
He turns and gives you an odd look, and he says, What do you mean?"
I say you are the epitome of a proper soldier, but I cannot say the same for all the fellows that we saw walking through here.
And he gives sort of a sidelong glance at you and then towards the door that Ranvith just exited through, and he says, "Sir, I'd like to express that I believe the military men here of the highest order.